and it'll save it to like.
All right, I haven't gotten any admit me's yet, so I'm just.
Morning. I think it's going to be a pretty short meeting. I'll give everybody one more minute just in case they're joining right at 8:30. One more.
Yeah, Josh Podman just joining us. Oh, we're getting a couple others.
Mhm.
Caroline Kitchener of the Washington Post. Wall Street 1 hour from now, the Dow and NASDAQ appear poised to at the mark. We have left more than a century after the lynching of Charles Hale, elected in Gwinnett County. Life will be honored with a historical marker tomorrow. The historical record Hale, in his mid-30s, was accused of assaulting a white woman and arrested. He was never given the chance of a trial.
All right, I think it's good to go ahead and get started. I don't want to take up all of your time this morning. I know everybody has lots to get on to do with their day. So first up, just so everybody knows, we are recording this meeting. So wanted you to be aware of that. First item on the agenda is the principal update from Mr. Snow.
All right, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. So principal update, I talked to Ms. Neal. She's not able to be here this morning, but I am filling in for her. There are a few things that we just wanted to kind of let y'all know of that are happening here. One thing that we have initiated is basically kind of like a sleep study. One of the things that we were trying to combat right now is sleeping in the classroom. And so we are currently in the process of reaching out to families that have been identified as having students who are, you know, maybe some chronic sleeping going on, and just trying to work in partnership with them to find some solutions. So one of the individuals helping us in that process is Mr. Omar Reed, who is our community school outreach person. He's got a lot of tentacles that reach out into the community. He knows a lot of people. So he has definitely been an asset in kind of reaching these families and helping support the students and the family. Second thing is that we have a lot of clothing materials, jackets, sweaters, sweatshirts that are basically taking up our stage. And one thing that we're trying to determine if it's willing to support maybe like a clothes pickup evening, or maybe even on the weekend where families could come through and look for lost items that are here. That would be great. If not, I think our plan is to donate those items probably to Goodwill or to some other agency around town. And that's kind of where we are. You know, we finished up with our diagnostic test back in December. That went well. We're seeing growth in our students, which is fantastic. And we're still in the process of digging right now, but the results look really promising, and you know, teachers you know, should feel proud of the work that they're doing to support the kids through this extremely difficult time. So
I'm sorry, Mr. Snow, can you repeat what it was that you got results from? It kind of broke up for a moment.
yes, I'm sorry. It is the iReady diagnostic test, which kind of gives us an idea of where some student is occurring. And it's really helpful data to kind of see where that growth is occurring. It does provide us some longitudinal growth, which is important. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. Thank you for all the support for PTO for helping set up our outdoor cafeteria. Unfortunately, the weather is getting a little cold right now into next week, so I'm not quite sure. We're kind of looking at it on a daily basis just to kind of see. But we thank you for that. And also teachers and everybody's extremely appreciative of all the coffee that comes in. So thank you all for all the support that you guys have been giving us.
Thanks, Mr. Snow. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Snow before we move on?
Hey, Mr. Snow, it's Rachel Irwin. How are you? Glad you're with us. I saw the thumbs up. That's awesome. So just on the note right there about the cold weather going into next week and keeping an eye on it on a daily basis, can you give the parents a little bit more insight on what the alternative plans are for eating and any mitigation practices that you're able to do in the school building those days?
Yeah, one of the things that we are continuing to do is provide opportunities for a certain number of classrooms to come through and eat in the cafeteria. So that does provide a little bit more space in that situation. I know we all know that this variant is extremely contagious. In the classrooms, teachers are continuing to have the barriers up when students are eating, and we're trying to separate kids out and space them as much as we can in the classroom. I believe I've seen some kids eating in the hallway as well. But we're trying to do the best we can to kind of keep that 6 feet of distance. 3 to 6 feet of distance. But also, we're trying to, maybe toughen the kids up a little bit and have them sit outside on some of the cooler days. I mean, we're trying to figure out the temperature that is, appropriate. I think we're kind of looking right around 45 as being that temperature where it's okay to maybe eat outside. Obviously at recess time, they're outside, but they're running around. So it's a little different than just sitting still and eating. But fortunately, I think one thing that's nice is that where we do set up our cafeteria out there, there's not as much wind. I think the building does prevent some of the wind from cooling things down. So we're trying to do the best we can for sure. But that's kind of what we're able to do.
Appreciate you outlining that. Thanks. We know you're trying. It's just good to hear it. Thank you.
Also, I'll make note of the comment, thanks Jen, about Project Safe being a good option for clothing donations.
Any other questions for Mr. Snow or comments?
I was also just going to say one of the, I have reached out to other schools as a possibility for donating clothes. If there is a need at other buildings, we have divided them out by size. And so I am kind of waiting to hear back from some of the assistant principals throughout the county just to see if there are needs for clothes at those schools.
I do know Clark Middle has some needs for extra pants. Like if there are any larger sizes that may work for some middle schoolers. I know they have asked for donations. All right, any other questions? All right, next we have the LSGT update. Ed Morales could not attend, but he sent us his update. And if anybody else wants to add in any comments on the LSGT, you're welcome to expand. I'm just going to read what Ed wrote for us. We haven't met since October, so there's nothing new to talk about, though we will be discussing next week how to spend the remaining $11,000 left in the LSGT grant, and we'll be taking suggestions from LSGT members. If anyone wants to sit in the next LSGT meeting, it is next Thursday at 5:30 on Zoom, and people can reach out directly to Ed for the Zoom link. So if you have some ideas for the grants, I guess submit those to our LSGT members before that meeting. Anything?
I guess I wonder what's eligible for these monies. Maybe we don't have Ed to be able to describe that, but does anyone have any ideas for what sorts of things are eligible?
So I'm just gonna kind of share the things that we've done in the past. We used LSGT grants in the past to purchase the picnic tables that are in one of our outdoor eating areas. We've used them to support teachers for a summer reading opportunity for students last year. We're thinking about possibly renewing that to work with those students who are some of our struggling readers to provide that support all summer long to hopefully combat that summer slide that always occurs. We have also used some of the funds to purchase things for our PBIS, which is, for all those students in the school. We used it to purchase the bracelets that come home on on a monthly basis for those students. And so those are some of the items that we've done in the past. I think we have roughly about $11,000 left in the grant funding. And so, we are, and I think if you have an idea, share the idea. And then, it allows our team to kind of just have conversation about what would be a good use of those funds.
Yeah, Rachel Irwin said that it's essentially anything that aligns with the school growth plan for academic achievement and social emotional learning of all students.
Awesome, thanks, Rachel. And
Yeah.
Josh got the link. I'm going to put that in the minutes.
Great. So as Mr. Snow mentioned, we're providing coffee still for the teachers. Rents Beauty sponsored our coffee this month for the teachers. So thank you to Susie at Rents. We need more small businesses or parents. You don't have to be a business. If you want to sponsor a coffee as a family, that would also be wonderful. But we need sponsors for March, April, and May. Thanks again to all the parents who are coming to set up the lunch tables in the morning and break them down in the afternoons. There is a link for a meal train. Miss Ballard and Miss Evans set up. A Chase family recently lost a parent. So there's a take them a meal link if anyone would like to take food to the family. I think the details will be there on the link. Do you have that link, Jess? I'll share it in the comments when someone else is giving an update. I've got it in an email where I can share that. You do have it?
I would have to dig in my email too. So if you know more quickly, go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put a link to that. That's a wonderful way. Like, sometimes you have no idea what to do when people are grieving, and meals seem like they don't matter, but they do. So if you have some capacity to send some gift cards or food or takeout, I'm sure it will be appreciated. Gardening committee update. I'm not sure if our garden committee people, I don't see. So I don't have an update for garden committee. I do know that our MLK day of service was canceled. So I'm sure that they're going to be scheduling a new day to do those projects and get the garden ready for spring. Teacher appreciation. They also are not able to join us this morning, but sent in an update. Once again, they said, thank you for all the parents pitching in for the teacher breakfast last week. Teachers were appreciative. And yeah, just thanks for parents who are willing to jump in at the last minute. We don't always have much notice to jump in and help, but you guys are always willing and jump in at the last minute. Our next teacher appreciation activity is Valentine's Day. For support staff, we prepare Valentine's Day bags, and they are looking for new ideas from parents and staff. So if you want to email PTO-chasestreet@gmail.com with ideas or for the Valentine's Day bags, that would be great. I think we typically put some gift cards in and candies and treats and that sort of thing. And then A is for arts update. We sold the most we've ever sold with Square One Art this year, which is great. And we raised just over $3,000 with our Square One fundraiser this year, which is wonderful and much needed. So those are all our updates from our committees and leadership. Any questions from anyone?
Not so much as a question as just a check-in, because I know it came up maybe 2 meetings ago about the idea that it's the 100th anniversary, and if there's been any further discussions about how to observe that this year, or if there's going to be any formal sort of, sounds like even just a campaign on Class Dojo or something, if abilities are limited, but has there been any discussion on that, Mr. Snow?
Could you just repeat the first part of that? I missed that first part.
Yeah, just with the 100th year of Chase Streets, how we're going to observe that in any form. That's
a great question. There has been talk about putting together like a little presentation. I think that there was some talk, I think with Dr. Watkins maybe about including some pictures in the yearbook, but I'm not 100% sure. I can look into that I don't want to misspeak on this, but I've heard some conversations, but it's been a little bit, so I can follow up on that and see.
We've only been a Chase family for a few years, so I don't know the history of the fifth grade class, but I guess I either assumed or understood that fifth grade typically does some sort of project. I know that they had painted the recycling dumpsters several years ago. I know that the solid waste division is going to be bringing them new dumpsters. I know that I talked to Miss Dean about the possibility of repainting those, and I don't know if that project will happen, but maybe that can be tied in with the 100-year anniversary.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And I will try to find out the status of those dumpsters. Just like everything else in the pandemic, solid waste is well under it. And they are, I think those are on back order, but I know they were trying to get new ones or at least repaint the ones that are there. That way they could be used as a new mural.
Cool. And I mean, I'm willing, if folks want to email me to form like a subcommittee that will actually, talk about this in the interim, and, have those conversations between these meetings too. So I'll put my email in the chat, or you can email the main Chase PTO email. But just if you want to express interest to me, even after this meeting, I can follow up the list of names of folks, maybe to get an email chain going on this topic.
All right, does anyone else have a question or news to share? All right, we suspected it would be a quick meeting, but it was good to all gather and see faces and touch base and not lose connection with each other just because we didn't have a lot to report. So email us if you have any questions or ideas and new ways to support our staff. We appreciate all your hard work. I know you guys are exhausted, but the kids don't know that. So they're doing amazing, and thank you for that, for keeping morale up and making school a wonderful place for them to go. So it's one of my favorite things about Chase. I don't remember loving going to school in elementary school. I mean, it was just school, you went, but both of my children have always liked going, no complaints. So thank you for the atmosphere that you create there in the midst of a chaotic world. So if there are no more questions, we'll end. I'll stop the recording and hope you all have wonderful Fridays.
Thanks, Lynn.